Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through and previewing the Adelaide strikers for the 2023-2024 BBL SuperCoach season, going through who I think are the best options, etc., who are really not going to be included in too many of teams, who's like overpriced, etc., and who's that sort of rookie that you can jump on or such. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, we have the Adelaide Strikers players up for the 2023-2024 season. I will make it slightly bigger for you guys. There we go, that's easier. And first off, the big name is Matty Short. And he plops in here at 244k, 78 break even. Is that off one game this round? That's their pass rounds. So one game this round. And I don't really see too much value, to be honest, in Matty Short in round one. But then obviously you have the value in round two. So I don't think you want to be putting him on your bench just because he's so pricey, and then obviously he has that buy in round three, which can make it very, very difficult. So either, and this is where the planning comes into place, and what will happen, I think, after my exams are done, etc., and I have some free time to plan this, but it's either going to be I pick him up in round two and hold him, or I pick him up in round four and hold him all the way through to the end. So that's either one of the plans, and I guess if it is round four that we get him in, we'll have, I guess, more scope to see if he actually is playing well, or whether he is just one of those guys that resorts back to his sort of previous form. If we look back at his notes here, you'll see average of 78 in 2022-2023. That's the same year. 2021-2022, we averaged 68, which was again, I believe, the season number one rank in the season. And then 2020-2021, he averaged 17.8, which was not a really good season. The year before that, he averaged 22.8, which is, again, not the best season. So he's coming off two really good seasons. So whether he'll do a Darcy Short and have a really good season or not really is dependent. But he hasn't really shown anything outside of that once you get past the 2021-22 and the 2022-2023 campaigns. So he's had two good years, and whether he continues that on in the next year will be, I guess, we don't know. But I could see him being the top guy yet again, as he's shown it on the international stage, and he's had a pretty good intro into the summer this year. Next up we got is Chris Lynn, and I don't know, depending on his contract, I don't know the contract types for a lot of these guys, but I don't know whether he'll be around for the whole year or not, or whether he goes away. I should probably actually look that up on my phone whilst going through this, but I think Chris Lynn is one of those guys that I don't think is actually that valuable anymore. So he was valuable back in the day, and I mean he did score 54.2 in the last year, but I don't think he's do you have a 2023 update for that? Just trying to look through and see if he's got a new contract, and it doesn't look like here that he's got a contract for 2023 that's different or whatever. So that must mean that he's got 2023, 2024, here we go. So yeah, I don't think there's too much value in Chris Lynn, as he really just had three good innings, and I mean that's obviously what's going to happen as a batter. But if we look back here, he had 25 the year before that, and 55 the year before that, 46. So I don't think there's terribly too much value, especially this year with the likes of like a Maxwell or a Philippi, or I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There's like Nessa as well that are there and thereabouts that you really need to be getting in the starting team. I don't think Chris Lynn is the guy that you want. Let's just see here. I think Cricket Australia's done one here. And I don't know. It doesn't say if they will send him, if it will come and he'll stay for the whole year or not in this contract. Yeah, I don't know. Oh right, no. So he here it is. So Chris Lim will leave the Strikers on the January 19th, which is, if we look at the fixtures, I have to look at a different website because obviously they don't have it on here. But if we look at the BBL 13 fixtures, the 19th we said, and that pretty much takes him. I would expect him to pretty much be playing the whole of the season because the last game for the Strikers, this Thunder game, is on the 14th of January. So I expect him to pretty much play the whole year through. So that will be alright, I reckon. Then you have Baisley here, 165k, and I don't really think this is an option. Even though he's got the batter bowler mix, I don't think this is the best option just because of the way he was last year. I mean, 11 games, and he really just had that one big round. I mean, he's had another 100 round. But if you look the summer before that, I mean, he averaged 50 that year and then 30 the year before. So maybe he's a guy that you bring in on the double and try and get some value out of it. But we have a lot of time. We have the first round to see how he performs and how he's shaping up. But I certainly wouldn't be bringing him in the first round, as I don't think he can be a game breaker on a one game round. Sorry. As we look here at his 2022 season, you'll see, and it doesn't look like he had total score. Let's see, score. It doesn't look like he's had any sort of big games. I mean, this 148 here, trying to find the actual stats for it. This 148, he had 29 runs, strike rate bonus, and 4 wickets. Okay, so any other big games? A 3-wicket haul there. So he does take wickets. I'd have to look at his actual raw stats rather than out of this fantasy website to see if he actually is usable. But that is interesting that he does have some usability. So definitely in the double weeks, I'd look at him. But outside of that, I wouldn't, to be honest with you. Thornton was, I think, just carried off the back of that, was it fifer last year that he had in, I think, round 1? Or did they play they didn't play a double in round 1, did they? No, if we look here, he had, did he take, how many wickets did he take in that game? It says here that he took, well, that would be the equivalent of 9 wickets. I don't know about that one because I don't think he took 9. I thought he took somewhere around that. If you look last year, I thought he took around the 5 mark there. I didn't think he took that. Let me check again because I thought I was right in saying that he had about a 5 for 4 or something like that in the game. But I guess I need to check that. Here we go. Adelaide Strikers. Did they? Oh, is this? I reckon this is a double game. I think this is a double game because he took 5 for 3 against the Sydney Thunder, and he's taken, where is it here, 4 for 20 against the Sixers. So that is a double round that they haven't really done well in signifying. So there's that, and that's why you get the 9 wickets because he took a 4 for and a 5 for. So that's that problem solved there. But with Henry Thornton, I think he just, off the back of that one round, he really didn't do anything for the rest of the year, as you can see here, and ended up averaging 52 from 9 rounds played. And you can just see when he doesn't take a wicket, he seems to be one of those bowlers that goes for a lot of runs. So I wouldn't be selecting him I wouldn't be selecting him. Whereas Agar 149k, I think this is very similar. You just don't want to pick too many bowlers that just bowl. And Wes Agar and Thornton don't really supply much with the bat. And so they just really, he had a couple of big scores just off the back of bowling performances. If we look here and we look at the runs He actually he had 37 runs for the whole year, which doesn't, and no strike rate bonus there, so that doesn't really help you. And obviously he had 18 wickets for it, but most of those came in the in that Sydney Thunder game that he got. Also had the wicket bonus, and did he have an economy rate bonus somewhere here? He had economy rate bonuses, but it's only 35, so 3.5 a game from that isn't terribly much. He might have even been beaten out by Thornton in terms of economy rate bonuses, just because Thornton had that. Thornton had the. If we go back here to 2023, Thornton had that one round. No, they both got 35, where he took 5 for 3, so he got the full bonus. Then we move. Alex Carey won't play, so I don't expect him to be in many teams, in many lineups anyway. As you can see here, it just isn't going to be in the in many teams, to be honest with you. If we look at 2024 here, you'll see not. I don't know where to get the selected in part from, where they get that, but I'm sure that's in another tab. But yeah, just not going to be selected terribly much, I don't think. Picked in teams, it doesn't seem like that's active at the moment. Anyway, moving on, Rashid Khan. I reckon he'll be one that you could hold anyway. I know that he might have other commitments. I don't know exactly his contract type, but I think he's one that you can definitely just hold throughout. But I'll have to look into that closer when we get closer to the season, what his contract is and when he's going to be needed to be traded out, etc. But yeah, so we'll look at that. But I think Rashid Khan is definitely one that needs to. Well, you can see here he didn't play after round 9, so that would probably mean that he is going to go away again. But I think you can definitely get him in for that run, either just holding him through that bye in the first. Well, you probably don't even want him on field in the first week, even though his performances in the World Cup have been pretty good for point scoring. I mean, he just put up I know it's a 10 over bowling spell and more overs with the bat in a 50 over game, but I think he just put up the equivalent of somewhere around that, somewhere around 105, 110 against the Aussies. So you could sort of expect that somewhat similar in a T20 game for him. And I think he would definitely be a good option. It's just depending on when you want to pick him up, because obviously you don't want to probably have him on field in round 1. Then you have this round 3 bye for him. So whether you want to pick him up for this double here against the Sydney teams and then hold him through the bye and then pick him up again in for this run here, as he has probably, I think he's going to leave somewhere around, I think he leaves around the same time as Chris Lynn, which could actually mean that he plays through. We'll have to see on that front. But yeah, you certainly want to have him for this double against Perth, to be honest with you, as that comes up pretty quickly. Head I wouldn't have, just because he's not going to be there with the Aussie summer, with the test matches, etc. I don't think he's going to be there terribly much. He might come for the last 2 or 3 games, but we'll wait on that one. But I think you're going to more want the guys that have, I think he'll be back for this 7, 8, 9 round. I think you're going to want more the Aussie guys that have the double then. Jamie Overton, don't really know how he'll fare. Don't think he fares too well. I think he was over here last year, was he? I swear he was, or was that just Craig that was over here? I don't think he'll fare too well, considering if you look at his brother's numbers, which is his brother's almost a better fancy asset than him, and Craig didn't play terribly well. So I don't think Jamie will be worthwhile at 125k. Boyce at 120k, I don't like the odds of this either. I know he averaged 39, but if you look at his, and he averaged 78 the year previous, that was off the back of just two big rounds, which might have even included, it looks like 2 doubles. 2 doubles he played. So I don't really like the look of Cam Boyce. You can just see the inconsistency, so I wouldn't pick him up. Adam Hose, again, I think he's clicked on the wrong guy. Adam Hose, here he is. Break even of 35, plays the 1 game in the opening round, so I don't think you will be selecting him, to be honest. Looking back at his 2022, 2023, he had 35.1. So I just wouldn't be, and that was, he did have some good round scores, but I think you'd be waiting on the double for him, to be honest, to be playing with him, as I said. 108k. Just think there's more value there, especially with like the Felipe and stuff like that at that price range. Doggett, I don't even know if he'll get a game, to be honest, when you've got the likes of Wes Agar and Henry Thornton ahead of him, and then also potentially Jamie Overton. Are you really going to go in with 4 quicks? I don't think they will, so I don't think he's that much of an option, to be honest with you. And he really just had one good round last year. Menenti, since he left the 60s, he hasn't really done much, and I don't know if they will even play him terribly much, as you can just see here. Averaged of 24 last year, so I just don't think he's valuable. Obviously priced at 75, so you might want to pick him up just for the bench for the double if he is playing, just because that could be cash gen. But other than that, I don't really see much value in Menenti, as he's really a number 8 sort of batter and also bowls his 4 overs and he isn't really a wicket taker. He's more of an economy type guy. So I don't really take, that could be completely wrong actually what I've just said, but that's from my thoughts of what he is. Let's just look here. Economy rate only 10. So yeah, I guess, but only has taken, where's his wickets? 3 wickets in, what was that? How many games? 6 games. So yeah, he isn't really that valuable, to be honest here. 28 runs off the bat, you can just see. And we look back at his 2021-22 campaign, 52, and that was, yeah, he had the 15 economy rate bonus. And then the year before that, he had 35 economy rate bonus and 5 wickets in 2021. He had 8 games. So yeah, he isn't really a wicket taker. And then you look back even further, I think this might have even been the Sixers years. Down here, 35 again. And he had, this was when there was like 30 wickets or something. I don't know exactly what's happened here that he got to a 150 wicket bonus. Maybe it was 25 a wicket or something like that. And he ended up with probably 6 wickets in 5 games. So we obviously did all right that year, but just showing that he isn't that valuable. Henry Hunt, if you go off the way he plays, like the one-dayers and also the red ball, I wouldn't pick him up just because he's going to struggle to get the strike rate bonus. But also and also the fact that you've got Short and Lynn in front of him, who will be there for the whole year, in my opinion. So I don't even think Henry Hunt or Darcy Short plays, which will be weird. I mean, he could potentially play in the middle order, or they slide Lynn back to 3 or something. But I don't think one of these guys will probably miss out, and it might be a rotation, which will just be horrific for fantasy or Supercoach. So you just got to stay clear of these two, to be honest. Even though Darcy Short has so much previous value, his form to start the year was horrific. So I'd rather wait on Darcy Short, given that they have the 1-rounder to start the year. So if he performs well here, then you might want to pick him up for the buy, just because he'll be 70k or something, 72k, and you can just hold him on your bench or something like that and use some loophole to get him in or whatever, and that'll be all right. But I just think at this point you gotta let him slide a little bit and just see what he does. And there's that. And then you've got Nielsen, and then we're coming to the end actually of their roster here. Nielsen will probably be their keeper, but at 63k. So like I was saying with Whiteman, I think Nielsen will be the way that we can cop out from from the Whiteman after Whiteman plays, or see how they're going. But I think that Nielsen could easily be the guy that we just chop to after we gain a little bit of cash out of Whiteman. I think that is the play, as I think he's one of the only keepers that will actually obviously play, but then also will be cheap, so we're not using too much of our cash on the bench. Kelly, I think, did play a couple years ago, I want to say. 2022, 15 last year. I think the year before that, he had an all-right year at 27.8. He just had a couple of bad performances. But yeah, I think he's just not I think he's going to be that first one off the rank, to be honest with you. He might get some game time given that they've got 2 guys away, and also in Carey and Head. but then they've also got some bowlers as well. So he's probably the first batter off the rank, first or second batter, depending on what happens with Short and Hunt on their order. But Tom Kelly might also just slot in as one of those middle order guys. They sort of seem to have not many middle order guys and a lot of openers. And I think Weatherall probably comes in to be that in the middle order, even though he had a horrific run last year. If we look at 2021, 19, 2020, he averaged 42. So whether he can get back to that form, I don't know. But certainly could be a punt if some of your guys aren't playing on the bench. Just get him in and he will probably just score all right to gain some cash. But surely he can't average 7 like he did last year. So yeah, if you just quickly look at my team for a little bit, he might be the way to go after Maxi Bryant. Just trade Maxi Bryant down to Jake Weatherall if Jake Weatherall's in the side, as Jake Weatherall will have the double, and then he can also be used as a in round 3 as a captaincy loophole. But yeah, so that pretty much comes to the end of the Adelaide recap here. If we go over here, and I guess that's the first team of review done, and we'll get through the other 8 or so teams. I don't remember exactly, as I said, how many. Let me just quickly check here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's 8 teams. I finally figured that out, that there's 8 sides. So you'll have the other 7 recaps across the next couple of days. In between that, we'll also have some draft content, etc. like that, as I'm starting to formulate ways to get all the team lists in a sort of Excel document. I found ways to get that for the AFL, so that'll be good. And so, yeah, that'll be that. And then you've also got, I guess, the probably another team review or team reveal, that's coming as well for the channel as we get into the closer to the season. I mean, it's 20-something odd days out, 28 days out now probably. So, yeah, you'll probably see another 2, I would say, probably, as I change up the sides. And, yeah, that's the video there. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.